You make more decisions before lunch than most people make in a day. But if we recorded your process, it would probably look like organized chaos. A Slack thread here, a random calendar invite there, a drive-by question in the hallway, and 2 weeks later, you're re-litigating the same choice because no one remembers what was actually decided.
And the funny part is, everyone thinks we have a decision-making problem. Usually you don't. You have a decision process problem. The judgment is there. The pipeline is a mess.
This is the agentic executive, and today's briefing is about fixing that pipeline. Think of your decisions like a product coming off a line. Right now, all your high-value calls are handcrafted in a back room. No standard stages, no shared view of the work, and no clean handoff to execution.
So we're going to turn that back room into a factory. Not in the bureaucratic sense with forms and committees, but in the sense of a clean, repeatable production line. Same core stages, same checkpoints, same output quality every single time.
We'll walk through a 4-stage model I call the Executive Decision Factory. Intake, frame, call, commit. Every recurring, meaningful decision type you care about should move through those same 4 stages.
And just to anchor this up front, this is not about slowing you down. It's the opposite. You're already spending the time. You're just paying a chaos tax. The goal is to convert that ad hoc effort into a system where, as I like to say, the system reveals the truth and patterns create power.
Let's define the factory. Stage 1. Intake. A raw ask, can we discount for this customer, becomes a decision ticket. Stage 2. Frame. You or your AI agents pull together one compact brief with options, stakes, and constraints. Stage 3. Call. You make the decision in a protected block with explicit criteria. Stage 4. Commit. That decision is immediately translated into owners, tasks, and dates in the systems you already use.
If you remember nothing else from this episode, remember this. Most of your pain lives in the gaps between those stages. Requests jump straight to you without clear intake. People debate options without a proper frame. You make a call in a meeting, but nothing gets logged. So commit never really happens.
So let's slow down just enough to speed up. Stage 1. Intake. Practically, this means any recurring decision type you care about gets its own simple ticket template. 1 page, not a novel. 3 key elements: the real question, urgency, and owner.
The real question is critical. People will bring you a story. You need a decision. Customer X is unhappy and they want is a story. The clear question is, approve a one-time 20% discount for customer X. Yes or no? You want that sentence in that format.
Then urgency. Not everything is urgent. You can keep it simple with 3 buckets: today, this week, or next sprint. That alone prevents every Slack message from masquerading as a fire.
And owner. Someone has to steward the decision ticket from intake through commit. It doesn't have to be you. In fact, it usually shouldn't be. The owner is responsible for gathering context, shepherding through the stages, and making sure the outcome lands in the right systems.
You can implement intake with almost no friction. A simple form in Notion, Airtable, Coda, or even a pinned template in Slack or email. The key is, every recurring decision of type X gets captured the same way. Same fields, same structure. No free-form novels.
Once you have that ticket, you move to stage 2, frame. This is where AI becomes a force multiplier. The question is, how do we turn this raw ticket into a one-page briefing that makes the decision almost obvious.
At Frame, you want 4 things assembled in one view. First, options. Usually 3 is enough. Yes, no, and a structured alternative. Second, stakes. What happens if we're wrong? Third, constraints. Budget, policy, technical or legal limits. Fourth, relevant history. Have we seen this pattern before, and what did we do?
This is where your agents and AI tools earn their keep. A simple prompt might be, given this decision ticket and our policy docs, generate 3 clear options, outline risks and stakes, list constraints, and summarize any similar past decisions from our notes.
But one important caveat. AI is a drafting assistant, not an oracle. Precision drives agency, but only if the human reviews the frame. Especially for high judgment or relationship-sensitive calls, you scan that brief and adjust anything that feels off or overly confident.
Exactly. The system does the heavy lifting. You still own the judgment. Once the frame is in place, you move to stage 3, call. This is where most leaders are strong but under-leveraged, because the decision moment is treated like an interruption instead of a protected block.
If a decision matters, it deserves a slot. That can be a dedicated weekly decision block on your calendar or a short segment baked into an existing leadership meeting. The rule is, during that block, you only process framed tickets. No new rabbit holes, no surprise topics.
When you're in that block, you apply explicit criteria. You can literally say, we're deciding based on these 3 things: customer lifetime value, precedent risk, and operational overhead. Naming criteria out loud forces clarity and makes the reasoning inspectable later.
Then you make the call, and you capture the rationale in 2 to 3 sentences. For example, approved the 20% discount because this account is strategic. Precedent risk is low, given prior exceptions, and support cost to escalate is higher than the discount.
That short rationale is where your judgment starts to compound. 6 months from now, when someone asks, why do we do discounts this way? You don't rely on memory. You have an inspectable trail of decisions and reasons. Patterns become visible, and patterns create power.
Stage 4. Commit. This is where many systems quietly fail. The decision gets made, everyone nods, the meeting ends, and nothing happens. Commit means before you exit that block, the ticket is translated into specific owners, tasks, and dates inside the tools you already live in.
In practice, that looks like owner, sales ops, task, apply 20% discount to customer X by Friday, update account notes, notify customer success. That's 3 separate trackable tasks with an owner and a due date, not one vague line called handle discount.
You can absolutely enlist AI here too. A simple pattern. Given this decision and rationale, generate a checklist of tasks with proposed owners and deadlines, formatted for Asana, or for Jira, or for your CRM. You review, tweak, and then paste it in. 30 seconds to close the loop instead of a week of misalignment.
All right, let's ground this in a few quick examples so you can see how light this can be. First, a founder running a 20-person SaaS company. They're drowning in pricing exceptions, feature requests, and hiring calls.
For that founder, week 1 might look like this. Pick one decision stream, discounts over 15%. Create a 3-field intake template, real question, urgency, and deal context. Sales submits all big discounts through that. Once a day, an AI agent frames the tickets into a 1-page summary for your pricing block.
Then the founder has a 30-minute daily or every other day pricing decisions block. They run through the framed tickets, state criteria out loud, margin, strategic value, precedent, and make rapid calls. AI drafts the commit tasks directly into their CRM and project tool. End of block, the whole pipeline is cleared.
Second example, a VP in a larger org, maybe product or operations. Their pain is constant escalations and cross-functional trade-offs. What to ship, what to delay, which incidents to prioritize.
They can define 2 or 3 decision streams: launch go decisions, roadmap trade-offs, and high-severity incident responses. Each gets its own intake template, its own framing prompts, and a reserved slot on the weekly leadership agenda strictly for those tickets.
The value for that VP is political and operational. Decisions look less like who shouted loudest and more like we applied the same criteria to every ticket. That's how you reduce friction, not by being nice, but by being consistent.
Third example, an independent operator or solo consultant. You might be thinking, I don't need a factory, it's just me. But your calendar, your pricing, and your client commitments are still a system. The chaos tax is just more personal.
If you're solo, pick one recurring call: accepting new projects, changing scope, or giving discounts. Run those through a lightweight version of intake, frame, call, commit. Capture the rationale in a simple log. In 3 months, you'll see exactly which criteria led to good outcomes and which didn't. That's how your judgment compounds.
And notice, in all 3 examples, we're not adding bureaucracy. We're replacing scattered, improvised effort with a simple, visible pipeline. Same energy, better yield.
So here's your action step for this week. Choose one decision stream, not 10, one. It might be discounts, hiring approvals, roadmap changes, or incident escalations. For that one stream, define a minimal version of the factory, a short intake template, a framing prompt for AI, a protected decision block, and a clear commit checklist.
Run every decision of that type through intake, frame, call, commit for 7 days. At the end of the week, ask 3 questions. Did decisions get faster? Did re-litigation go down? And did execution feel cleaner? If the answer is yes to even one of those, you've just found a leverage point.
Clarity is leverage, and your job is to manufacture that clarity at scale. A decision factory is how you turn your judgment from a series of one-off events into a repeatable product.
If this framework helped you see your day differently, make sure you're subscribed. These briefings are designed to sharpen your next call, not someday, but today.
You're listening to the Agentic Executive. Make your next move count and stay agentic.